There's a mother who threatened to bring loaded guns to a school, and I assume start shooting people. Here's the video.
No mask mandates. My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on. All right, that's not happening. And I will bring every single gun loaded and ready to, I will call every.
That's 3 minutes. You've gone past your time. It's a policy. Thank you.
I'll see y'all on Monday.
Yeah, that's called a threat, right? That's a terroristic threat. So here's what's ironic about this whole thing. Number one, once again, this is about mask mandates inside of school systems. We have already settled this. Schools have the ability, the authority to implement common sense administrative law, from dress codes to vaccination requirements, also to mask protocols or mask mandates inside of their school system. So this particular parent decided to threaten bodily harm by way of bullets to children, or I guess administrators and teachers, if there's a mask policy in the school, rather than just take her child out of school. If she has that kind of disagreement with the policy, she's going to bring a loaded gun and see them on Monday. Well, that person has in fact been arrested, but there's some more background to the story. I do find it really, really ironic also that when she said that she was going to go to the ultimate and say, I'm bringing a gun on Monday, you'll see me on Monday. When they told her her 3 minutes was up, she was not willing to speak 1 second over her 3 minutes. I mean, she didn't violate the 3-minute rule, but she's willing to unlawfully bring a gun on a school campus, but she shut the hell up after 3 minutes. That 1 second over. All right. The Luray Police Department charged that particular woman who made a perceived threat at Thursday night's Page County School Board meeting. According to police, Amelia King, 42, was charged with a violation of the Code of Virginia 18-2-60, or threat while on school property. All right, it fits the crime. They could have upped those charges, but they decided to leave it at that. Throughout the day on Friday, the police department worked with Page County Sheriff's Office to investigate the incident, contacted both national and state agencies to determine how to best move forward. Now, I want to remind you of this. This is really interesting. Now, understand the privilege that's already involved. This woman makes a threat, a terroristic threat, to bring a loaded gun to a school and shoot people. Okay, she makes the threat. She makes a threat on public record. The threat is recorded. And instead of arresting her immediately, instead of filing charges of terroristic threats and other, she was given the benefit of all of these law enforcement agencies calling each other, trying to figure out what's the best way to go, how to arrest her, what to charge her with. And it ended up being significantly lighter than what many believed it to warrant. So the police chief, C.S. Bo Cook, says that after consulting with state police and thoroughly reviewing the Virginia Code, the department determined that charging Ms. King with a misdemeanor violation was the appropriate course of action. I mean, damn, y'all are being real thoughtful about this charge. I mean, I'm accustomed to the police coming in, charging the person with everything they can, charging the person with the felony statute, the misdemeanor statute, and allowing their defense attorney to be thoughtful about how to proceed in a court of law. But instead, the police decided to be thoughtful on behalf of Ms. King. How nice of them for being this thoughtful about someone who has threatened to kill children and members of the faculty. The Page County Board met Thursday night to vote in favor of Governor Glenn Youngkin's executive order making mask a choice for students. Once again, back to mask. During the public comment period, King said, no mask mandates. My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on, all right? That's not happening, and I will bring every single gun loaded and ready. She's out. It was a light bond, $5,000, 10%. You pay a few $100, you go home. Aida, what are your thoughts here?
My thoughts are, can you imagine if that would have been me?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I think you pointed out that she stopped at the 3 minutes, but the funny thing to me is that she issued a threat And that was the violation of the day, that she could not go over the 3 minutes. Right. And I was like, if I would have said that, everybody would have jumped up. They'd have been like, wait a minute now, she just threatened us. I just think it's interesting to see, what if Khalif Browder would have had that same treatment? Or just, there are so many people, Black people and people of color who I could name that have never been extended the courtesy. Baby Tamir Rice wasn't extended any courtesy. And this woman, and yes, I'm gonna bring up the people who have been wrongfully murdered by the police, because they are never given the benefit of the doubt. But this woman who went into a place, who is having a temper tantrum because they don't want to follow the rules, because they've never been accustomed to following the rules, because they're always cloaked in their privilege. And they're like, why do we have to follow the rules now? Why is this happening to us now? She's having a temper tantrum because some people don't want kids to bring home the coronavirus that could potentially kill somebody who's immune compromised or elderly. And we don't know, because the information changes daily, true. So everybody is trying to protect theirs, and she doesn't want to do it because she's selfish, she's self-centered, she's pompous, and she's privileged. And that is the reason why I don't give those people a break. I won't cut them a break. People are like, why are you always going in? These white women who call themselves allies sometimes, they all belong to this group where they get to straddle between being oppressed and oppressors. And that's why I can't rock with it. She should be in jail.
Yeah.
She should be in jail. She doubled down on the threat too. When she said, see you on Monday, that was the double down.
That was a double down, and there's definitely a felony statute that would have applied. They decided not to allocate the felony statute to Ms. King. But I do find it interesting that, number one, nobody on the school board flinched. Nope. Nobody looked shocked. Nobody said, oh my gosh, wait a minute, are you threatening to kill children and faculty? Nobody flinched. Why? Because that kind of privilege has become normative in those arenas. So nobody flinched on the school board. They just said, ma'am, your 3 minutes are up. That's the policy, that's it. She just threatened to kill everybody on Monday. And then number two, there's a big difference between an individual health crisis and a public health crisis. If you have an individual health crisis, there's a different response to what's called a public health crisis. During a public health crisis, we have to now make decisions for the public good, not just the individual's sake. So if you feel as if the rights of your individual child are being violated because of a public health issue, then you can withdraw your individual child from their school system. We have decency rules, not only for adults, but also for kids. There's certain things they can and cannot wear inside of the school system. That's for age appropriateness inside of their school system. Well, nobody has argued if school systems have the ability to tell a child you cannot express yourself with this kind of clothing. We have always held school systems to be well within their authority to do so. All right, so just some things to point out.
And also the number of children with coronavirus has gone up, and they're being hospitalized. Here in California, they just released some information this morning about how the numbers of children being hospitalized for coronavirus. So regardless of where you think it came from, how much it's been politicized, we all can attest to it being real and that it is deadly for some people. So until that is no longer a fact that we need to do whatever we need to do to protect ourselves.
Very well said, and I will end the segment on this point, and I'm glad you brought it up. So many people would start saying things like the China virus or the pandemic, right? It's like being concerned about where the fire started in the middle of evacuating the home. We're trying to get the hell up out of the house. The fire doesn't care where it came from. You're in the line of it and it will harm you. So we can do all of this at the end of it. Once the fire is out, you can do all of the exhaustive investigation you choose to. But in the middle of the fire, we need to get the hell up out the house.